Welcome back to the vlog series, The Road to Heavyweights in the Open Class. I'm your host, Nicholas Camby, and thanks for tuning in. I haven't done one since March, so I thought I'd fill you guys in terms of what I've been doing as of late. But for the most part, just been cultivating mass and getting really fat, with some condition and hypertrophy training mixed in there. But I had a lot of big life events outside of 5 seminars that I did across a few different states. Had my bachelor party, I got married, had my honeymoon with the love of my life. That was a splendid time, but after that nice honeymoon period, it was time to get back to work, so had a few big blocks, but also during this span I've also got to hang out with guys like John Hack and Martins. I got to work out over at Elite FTS and do a podcast with Dave Tate, which was super fun, super rewarding, and just makes me want to do more kind of like live podcasts, even though I'm a host of a virtual podcast series. But again, I want to up my game one of these days. For the most part, leading into the last couple blocks, I just had these different blocks to what I thought I needed to do in order to get ready for the fall, which I'm having 3 big competitions focused on right now. And of course, all these competitions are subject to change because you can always get invited, you can always get hurt. But we're gonna hope for the best, and we're gonna focus with Plan A. But Plan A right now being the Arnold Spain or the Arnold Europe Championship, and that will be right in Madrid. So that'll be on October 14th. 2 weeks later, I'm going to go over to Italy to represent my heritage and, of course, my original birth state of Italy, and compete at Italy's Strongest Man. So that's going to be very exciting, and that's going to be a pretty good show, but also a good show to, again, explore the sites and see some family I haven't seen in over 10 years. And then from there, I'm going to go back and make it a 5th trip over to the official Strongman Games. Of course, not only representing Italy, but competing in the open class. So that's going to be a huge task. I think this is going to be the biggest year ever. There's a lot of great heavyweights competing in this year. And I think just every year, the quality of talent goes up and up. Also, the stakes couldn't be higher at OSG. The last 5 out of 6 podium winners, especially in the open class, have made it to World's Strongest Man. So not only is it a route to the Giants Live Tour, which is a qualification process of World's Strongest Man, but also potentially a direct invite to World's Strongest Man. So high probability. So it's the place to be. Again, for a lot of open heavyweights. Originally, I said that I wasn't going to do OSG right away, but I think it's just not only is it a great opportunity, but just I have so many friends that are going to this event and among all the weight classes, and also you get to see a lot of old friends. A lot of people are judging, a lot of people just watching and spectating, so not just only competing. So it's one of those events like the Arnold that you don't want to miss. So when I left the Arnold, I was probably sitting around like 275, and that was a good, comfortable weight for me. And I kept staying at 275 for most of the time. But during this span since March, there's been a lot of opportunities to eat for the most part. For instance, like going out to Vegas and California for a little bit. Not only my wedding, but I got all the leftovers there. We went to the honeymoon, and we ate a bunch of restaurants every night. Of course, barbecues during the summer. And, of course, recently I just came from a small birthday trip for my wife out in New York City. But New York City is the food capital of the world, so I think I've been indulging, but I think I've been really capitalizing all the calories that have been available to me during this time. So I'm probably higher percentage body fat that I would like to be. I was 290 today when I woke up on the scale, so that's pretty heavy for a morning weight. I think ideally I would like to be 285 morning weight for at this time, but I didn't really expect to even get into 280s in my first year of potentially competing. I thought it would be probably a solid 275 for the rest of the year, but getting up to around 285, 290 wasn't as difficult as I perceived it to be. previously. So, but I don't think 300 is in the conversation for this year. I did feel at times I was a little too heavy, sometimes heavy breathing, or I don't think I need a sleep apnea machine yet, but I don't want to get to that point either. But I think potentially could be inevitable. But right now, I think going forward, I'll probably start trimming up. I'm finishing up another one. I'm halfway through a 4-week block. Then I have a 3-week block, a 1-week block, and a 3-week block for the rest of the year in terms of really heavy training, and that will lead into those 3 shows. So the block right now is pretty much getting me ready for these next 3 competition blocks. So one thing I kind of analyze myself is that I got away from squats, but a lot of it because of the SI injury that occurred last year and that I've been kind of working with through the several months as of late, and of course getting that quad strength up, but also I've been trying to do a little bit more hypertrophy because I'm going to switch focuses probably going in the next few blocks, and where hypertrophy is not really a main focus, but more of the strength building and specific event training. So still got to write up those blocks, but pretty excited to do it. Usually I'm more of a linear progression type of guy. And leading up to those 3 weeks, even though this 4 weeks right that I'm doing right now is probably a little more of a restoration block, but could sneak in a few heavy lifts in there. I do sometimes get impatient, but again, depending on what happens, and sometimes you get with the boys and you want to, of course, on a Saturday and test some things, but as long as they're in my competitions or what's going to come up, I'll probably continue to push it at times, but for the most part, I've been doing a good job of keeping my body healthy and ready for these competitions. So, knock on wood there. So there has been some challenges gaining weight for the most part. When I went down to North Carolina for a seminar, the previous 2 weeks I was wearing my new Zone flip-flops from my sponsor, Zone Smelling Salts, and I think it was just one of those things where sometimes you get a new shoe and you just want to wear them all the time because they're pretty cool. But that ended up giving me kind of turf toe, but that never really happened for me kind of wearing sandals for a long time. So, I love you. So for the most part, I ended up giving myself turf toe, but I don't think I would have gave myself turf toe if I was 250 pounds rather than, I think at the time, 285, maybe peaking around like 290 when I went down there to North Carolina. So there has been some challenges. So I do feel a little more kind of weight in my ankles. I do feel sometimes pretty uncomfortable. I think I was doing a clean and jerk workout with some of my old Olympic buddies from TPS, and I was doing some heavy breathing, and I didn't feel that great after the actual clean and jerk, so I think I ate too much, but I think went into that workout around like 292 because I do like to weigh myself before I leave for the gym. So I think common practice, especially kind of gaining weight, losing weight, I think it's good to kind of weigh yourself multiple times a day just to get a sense of if you're eating enough calories, if you're doing a good job dieting, if you're overeating, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're underhydrated. A lot of different things you can kind of track, especially just using the weight. So I think morning weights especially is a good track in terms of where you are. And then I also like to see how much I float at night. Usually it could be anywhere between 3 to 6 pounds, depending if it's a workout prior or if there was like a big meal previous to it. But I feel like it's all different kind of good components for anyone kind of take in if they're thinking about losing weight, think about gaining weight. And to talk to you guys about a recent workout from last night in prep for these contests. So I've been throwing in muscle clean and strict presses. Not only is good to work the bar path and a great movement or a great combination of the movements for any mid-season training, but I also have a circus dumbbell coming up in both of those contests, Arnold Spain and OSG. Italy still to be determined in terms of events. So this is a great way to work the hips without making contact. Then I also worked the yoke press, which is part of the overhead medley on the first day. Never did yoke press prior to last week, so it was a good movement to try out. On the yoke pressing, a lot of it is really about timing and stability and also being able to effectively kind of squeeze your glute to the top. So I did 360 for 3 pretty smoothly, and then when I went for 400 the first time, I missed because I didn't do a good job squeezing the glutes, but I fired off my delts pretty fast. Second time I think I did a good job in terms of putting everything together, and that's why I hit the lift. But going 400 on the yoke press marks the 4th different strongman implement I've gone over 400 with, if you include a barbell. So the axle, the log, and also yoke press. But I've also gone on 400 on the Tsunami Bar level 5 bar, the Tsunami Bar prototype bar, and also on a Rhino bar. So you could say 7 different things I've gone over 400, which is probably something that most people will forget, but something that I'll hold dear in my heart. But that's pretty much the video for today, guys. I'm going to try to keep up with more weight updates and, of course, competition prep updates and vlogs going forward. I'll definitely do a vlog for each of these competitions, and I hope to, of course, come out on top. But, of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and tell me what you guys want to see. And until next time, everybody, stay strong.